That's the gel coat finish. There's no paint on this door at all.
Raise your expectations.
Raise your expectations.
So I've created myself a bit of a problem now because I've got to get that out.
We're back. Say hello, Jonathan. It's the opposite of bye. I've been at work for a couple of days. Work been tattooing. This isn't work, this is fun, although a lot might call it work. So Jonathan's rubbed the quarters, got all the little doofers that needed doing. There was a little bit of filler needed. Did you have to put filler in that, or did you just rub? You just rubbed it back. So I've got the back panel to do, and there's a little ridge in there that I need to get rid of. Although we don't think any of that's going to be visible, because when we 3D print the vents for it, the plan is to actually have them sit proud, because those are going in the way like that. So those could actually retain the vent if the vent was like a clip in. So you push it in, clips in, and that'll stop it going right the way through. It's not much of a lip on the top, mind you, but anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I think that's going to be covered, but I'm still going to sand it. Still got the top vent to do, and you probably can't see it, but this one on there is a slightly different shape to this one. This one's got quite a flat spot. You can actually see the bottom edge of it there. It's got a big flat spot on it, but the other one hasn't got. It's not mega rounded. There is a bit of a crest there, but it's not like the other one. So I'm gonna have a mess on with these, see if we can get them balanced out. This other one definitely needs some filler in it. I also want to try and, you've seen the pressure that we've got in this bit here, it sticks out a little bit, and we're going to have to do something to hold that in. Well, I've already in the past made some cuts in there. I think this was actually narrow, wasn't it? It was narrow and we pushed it out. I'm sure we did. I think we might have overdone it, and I can't remember exactly what. I think it was maybe narrow. It doesn't really make sense that it was narrow, but anyway, I'm going to put a couple of cuts in there, push that in with my knee, and then fiberglass in the back of there, put some glass matting in the back of there to try and hold it in, because I think it'll just take a bit of the pressure off there. I'm going to have to try and do something anyway. Either that, or there's going to be a locator in behind it, but because we're moulding the kit, I would like it to be the exact width that it needs to be, so don't really want people to be having to make adjustments. The bonnet's rubbed, the bumper's rubbed, it's all ready for primer, for its next coat of primer. I've changed that bit there because it just was bugging us, it wasn't quite the same as the other side. Changed that vent on the other side as well, so everything's done here, ready to go for primer. The side skirts haven't really been touched much, so they still need a rub, but there's not a lot to do to them. And the top to rub, so I don't know, I'll work it out. We're gonna use the new door cards, aren't we? If we are, then, because I've got a repair to do on this one as well. The repair's done, but I need to finish that off there. But that's the only like bad bit on that door, and the only bad bit on there's a bit on there as well. And then the only bit on the other door is there's a crack appeared down there.
Yeah, it's where
the two, yeah.
The only thing I was thinking was these are maybe worth keeping as masters.
Yeah, but are we gonna use the other ones? Because what I'm saying is, if we're using those door cards, then I need to prep the door cards as well.
Ah, you could.
Aye, do it for primer, just for the next coat of primer. If we're going to use them, then I may as well just prep them, because they'll still need painted regardless. So this here, you see the shine on that? That's the gel coat finish. There's no paint on this door at all. That's just how it comes now. We are sort of looking at the potential. I think it's a little bit of a, what would I say, a little bit of a push to for us to expect ourselves to be able to produce a kit that comes out with a gel coat finish that you don't even have to paint. If you wanted the car to be white, even coming down to the seams where this had like massive seams down here, we're hoping that we're going to get it good enough that those seams will be full of gel coat, so when it comes out of the mould, you literally just have to sand those down, polish them, and you won't have to paint the car. That'd be great, but I just think it's a hell of a high expectation for what is, you know, we're not pros at this, do you know what I mean? We're not pros at moulding, but clearly, because this thing, when we got it, it looked like fucking sandpaper, didn't it? It was rough as a bear's ass. It had the texture of sandpaper. There was absolutely no way you could polish it. And obviously, where all the seams were as well, there was like fiberglass coming through the seams, and you know, it wasn't like just gel coat. It was.
The main thing I'd change with this is do a thicker gel coat.
Yeah.
And put the fine stuff on first, to stop the weave showing through as easily.
Right.
Not the weave, the matting. Mm-hmm. And then you wouldn't get any of the rub through bits. But I've touched them bits up and they've polished back all right.
Yeah, and you can't see an edge on it.
So these holes where you click over them on, they could be countersunk with a little countersink drill.
Yeah.
And resin.
Yeah, so
gel coat rather.
Yeah, like yeah.
Then flatted off and polished up, and you wouldn't need to paint it.
So what Jonathan suggested is that if we do get all these seams good, then what he's saying there is that there's going to be a couple of bits where would need like a touch up as such, because you're drilling through. You might want to do the front of the roof as well, rather than just be bonded on. So anywhere there's a potential repair, what he's saying is we could supply the kit with a little bit of gel coat and hardener, like activator, so that you could actually do your own repairs, and it would be exactly the same colour as the white of the kit. I don't expect it. If we get it, it'd be great. I just don't. That's not my expectation. I feel that we might be disappointed if that was.
Raise your expectations.
Raise your expectations.
Well, if we can do it with the first one.
We can, yeah. I mean, that's our first one, and obviously we're only going to improve on what we're doing. So, yeah. Anyway, he's welding up an exhaust. What are you doing today? So he's making an exhaust manifold, like a turbo conversion exhaust manifold for a Honda S2000.
So that's the original one we've used as a template kind of thing, which was
keeps on cracking. These cracked, aren't they?
Cracked.
Oh wow! Look at that! It's not just a crack on the joint either. It's a crack right through the whole thing.
It started on the inside where it's rough.
Yeah.
And cracked that way and that way. There was also a crack through there which I repaired.
Has already had a repair on it.
I made one of these to replace this 7 years ago, and it's still going strong. So.
JDM DYNO at Kirkbride. Obviously, you'll get it on the internet. Now, in fact, jdmpower.co.uk, isn't it? The new website that we made. You can check out what Jonathan does in that. It's amazing, man. He's like, I don't know, one of the county's best kept secrets, I think. I honestly believe that there's not another mechanic, engineer, brain that in the county that can come anywhere close to what he's capable of doing. If there is, tag them in this or something, but like I honestly don't believe there is. The stuff that he does is absolutely amazing. Obviously it's a business, so if you want any work done off Jonathan, if you've got any awkward problems that nobody else can fix, it's like the A-team of modified cars.
Got a bit bored, rub and filler. Well, actually rub and primer. So thought I'd have a go at an experiment. I've collected some dust, which is essentially primer dust. It's really fine. But the suggestions came up before, can I make filler out of the filler dust? So this is essentially like filler dust. So I'm going to put some resin in it and see if I can make some filler. Right, so I've got some dust. No idea of ratios here, but I'm going to put a bit of resin in there. I think I might need a bit more resin actually. sort of worked on it. I'm going to have to try that out now. Got a little bit on the bonnet that I want to do. I'm going to try it. Now this could be a bad idea. Thought I'd better show you what I'm up to. Put some cuts up this edge here. When I push that part in now, those like nip my finger. So the idea is I want this to come in about 4mm. It's really hard to gauge it. This isn't going to be 4mm, it's going to be more, but I'm allowing for a bit of flex as well. So I'm hoping that by, I'm going to glass into the back of that, let that set, and then that should hold that tight enough to give us, I don't want it to go too far either. I've got a feeling it might go too far. I've got no way of really gauging this other than just doing it and see what happens. That section in there that I'm going to glass in. I don't know whether I can even film this, it's an awkward angle. I'll try. So here you go, does the filler work? So I've created myself a bit of a problem now because I've got to get that out. So it's official, I'm a dumbass. That little experiment didn't work at all. I filled some pinholes, I had to scrape that out, sand it back. I've filled a bit on the bonnet with my experimental filler. It didn't go off, so I've had to scrape it out. Now I've got a load of razor blade marks that I've got to fill. I've got more work to do now than what I did before I started messing on with the filler. So note to self, don't do that again. Right, well I feel like I've had a very unproductive day. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, entirely my own fault. But this is where Jonathan's got to, look at that. He's got this to go, is that for the wastegate?
Yeah, wastegate in there.
So he's made this jig so that it all like bolts into that, and actually that will go onto there, and then he'll weld that onto there, and then he needs to put a collar around there.
That bit there sort of sits in that bit there, so it needs cut back a little bit.
Yeah.
More. And then I do a band round here. I'll cut that back and make a. I actually put the band onto this first and make it form to the corners.
Yeah.
And then go into a round.
Yeah.
Whereas the original one was actually a bit of a bodge because they haven't made it go around. There's a big step there and it's not fully welded. I have it all fully welded inside.
Yeah, Jonathan welds it on the inside as well as the outside, so but it wasn't a weld that had gave up on it, it was
well, it is kind of, because if you look in that corner there's a real scraggy bit there.
You can see it, yeah.
And it's actually, that's where this is started from. It started from there, it's gone that way, and then it's also gone that way.
Yeah.
You know, and that had done the same round there. It had cracked through this bit. I had to put a bit in there, but then it cracked again. So
It's got to be something to do with the physical stress on it as well, though, for it to crack like that.
It's all like sharp and horrible.
Yeah.
So from a sharp edge, when you're heating and cooling,
Yeah.
you get a little crack forming in the corner, and then it just spreads.
I was watching something about head porting last night, and
Yeah.
it was saying that these sharp edges in between the two ports, some people say that it's a good thing, but like he was going over like that it can actually crack the head. Because like
Gets
problems
split,
come
going
from
down.
the hot spot that it causes on the edge. So like
Depends on the casting and the things. But
yeah.
you've got to be careful with stuff like that as well.
Right, I'll show you what I've like got done, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I've refilled that because it was wrecked. Yeah, live and learn. I've got the back of the clam rubbed, I've got the other side rounded off, got a little bit of cellulite to sort out. Can you see that? You can totally see that, can't you? So, but I can't do anything about it right now because I've got this wedged in here holding that bit of the clam in, because I've got the fiberglass in there. And then I've took this ridge off here, and there's a bit of a seam where the mould mark. But other than that, I really don't feel like I've got much done. Got that bit sorted there. I guess I've got forward a little bit, but
not here till. Let's try. Oh, what are you pointing at? Yeah, I did have a rub at that. It's
that might want something
just
in there.
about there.
Is that a line or is that just where you rub through? 'Cause I've
Yeah.
got mucky hands.
I think it's a.
These still need a little bit of thing and all, don't they?
Yeah, so I've got a little bit more around
the
them.
mould
to do.
anyway, because it'll be a high bit in the mould.
Aye, well, I'll try. I'll try and get it, but there is something going on there definitely. That I've been rubbing that, so I might have created an edge there, but doesn't look like it. Yeah, it looks like I've created a bit of a. So yeah, the only other thing would be to 180 the sills if I'd got all this done, but hey, it is what it is. So everything's rubbed bar a couple of little. We've got a bit of cellulite on the far corner. Got a little bit to deal with on the rear vent openings. Got that to fix, which is halfway there. I've 180. Yeah, I've 180'd this side because it was just there's some 80 bits. What was that? Anyway, thanks for watching, subscribing, doing all the good stuff, pressing the buttons and that, and hopefully I won't make any more mess ups next time I meet. Oh, let's just check with Jonathan. So this is Jonathan. Are you going to be in on Sunday?
Maybe.
He does this to me every time. I've got my car, I've got my wheels fixed for my car. Yeah, I didn't get my wheels fixed for my car because they're still pissing out air, so that's been another theme of the day. Never mind, they've got to go back as well, so greatest plans and all that. But anyway, thanks for watching, see you next time, bye.